the main thing is experimentation. Building with these AI models, it's all about experimentation. So get familiar with your sort of prototyping tools and UIs so that before you're writing any code, you are validating that the model is capable and doing that task to the level you need it to do.
Welcome to the Developer Spotlight. Today in the spotlight is Zack Akil, Senior Machine Learning Engineer and Developer Advocate at Google. Zack, so happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Very cool, Zack. I know you. We bump into each other at events all the time, but our viewers might not know you. Tell us a little bit of about what you do as a senior machine learning engineer and developer advocate.
Absolutely. So the core of my job is machine learning engineering. Specifically, I focus on practical, almost applied machine learning. So not just building models, but how we can actually get those working in applications. And then the second focus of my role, which is developer advocate, that is taking what I'm doing with machine learning and basically sharing it with the world. So all the stuff I'm doing, it's kind of focused on how can I share with developers and other people who are just interested in AI and how it can be used? How can I share basically like best practices or even practices that you didn't even know you could do with the current technology? So it's also a bit of doing what's useful, but also doing what hasn't been done before.
Love that. And one of the things that you created, and by the way, I saw this on a LinkedIn post that you shared, is Event Genie. This is a Google Workspace add-on that extends Gmail. It uses Gemini Flash. Tell us a little bit about what problem you were trying to solve with this demo that you created.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, like a lot of my demos, they're just inspired off of problems that I face in my sort of day to day, whether it's like at work or in my hobbies. And this one is a problem that I face quite frequently, which is to do with events. So as you said, like we bump into events all the time, and oftentimes in emails about events. Littered throughout emails, there'll be multiple sort of dates, deadlines, when to do this and when to do what. And personally, I find it very difficult to keep track of dates. I always get them mixed up, even if I try to just like look at the email and like put them into my calendar manually. And so I know through experience that just understanding and parsing unstructured text like that of like a big email is exactly what Gemini is very, very good at. It's very, very good at understanding a language. And so I tested it out. I thought, okay, can Gemini solve this for me? If I say, here's an email, extract out all the possible dates within the email and present them back to me in a JSON format that I can then parse and do something with. How well does it do that? And through testing, it does that incredibly well. So that's what inspired the sort of building out this application that would automatically extract out dates and add them to my calendar.
Really cool. And I will also be adding the URL to the post that you wrote and also the GitHub repo to the description of this video. So any viewer who thinks, ooh, that sounds like something I'd like to try out, just go ahead and do so. Could you maybe at a relatively high level walk us through how this works, the tools, the technology that you use to build this?
Absolutely. So there's two, I would say two or three core technologies. The main one obviously is Gemini, and specifically I'm using Gemini Flash, which is our sort of lower latency model. So it's less powerful than our like pro version, but the nice thing of it is that it can return responses like in a couple of seconds. So it's really good if you've identified a problem that you want to use AI for, you test it with the fastest model first. And then if you need deeper reasoning, you go up to the bigger model. So we're using Gemini Flash. It can solve this problem really well. And then in order to actually integrate it into Gmail, we used something, as you mentioned, is called a Workspace add-on. And the really interesting thing about this is I had never built a Workspace add-on before. I had played around with AppScript, which is the scripting language within Workspace, but building a Workspace add-on for Gmail I'd never done before. So I was actually looking at the AppScript page, and there was a little tile that said, "Oh, here's a Gmail add-on template," and I clicked in that template, and it was within a couple of hours I had built Event Genie because that template actually handles a lot of the stuff with the side panel UI and all the other things. So yeah, I guess the main technology is Gemini and that specific Gmail add-on template that basically did most of the work in terms of the integration.
I love that. And there are a lot of samples in the developer documentation also for other developers to try out that extend also other tools that are part of Google Apps Script like Docs, Sheets, and whatnot. So love that you were able to take that template and use it as the foundation. And then obviously Gemini Flash. And that actually brings me to another question. So we're just filming this the day after we launched Gemini 2.0, and I know that you heavily look into our models and play around with them. Are there things that developers should keep in mind when they are testing out the different models? Let's say specifically for an add-on for one of the Google Workspace applications. What are some of the things that a developer should be looking at when they are looking at or testing the different models?
I think it kind of leans into like how do you it's almost like a skill set of how do you prototype with these models? Like, how do you actually know that they're going to work? And if they do, like, which ones do you go to first? And to that, I say, like, it's definitely important to play with the models. It's kind of a unique time in technology where we don't know all of the features of the models that we're releasing. Like, we don't know all of the different things they can possibly do. And so oftentimes I get asked, like, okay, how should I build this? Or will Gemini be able to do this? And the best answer is like, I don't know until you test it. And so it's good to get familiar with your sort of AI testing tools. So we've got like AI Studio and like Vertex AI Studio, whichever ones you've got access to. It's good to kind of play with the different types of models. Specifically, the main two you're looking at is like the Flash version of say Gemini 2.0 now, and then the pro versions or the next higher up versions. And you're basically, as I said before, you want to try to solve the problem with the least complicated technology first, because that's going to give you like the most robust solution. You first ask, okay, can the simpler version of Gemini solve it? If not, okay, let me bump up to a more advanced version, or maybe I experiment with the prompting, etc. So the main thing is experimentation. Building with these AI models, it's all about experimentation. So get familiar with your sort of prototyping tools and UIs so that before you're writing any code, you are validating that the model is capable and doing that task to the level you need it to do.
Something that I've done for myself, given that I come more from the app script angle, is that I kind of like have this boilerplate code for just accessing or calling Vertex AI, the different Gemini models that are available through that platform. So I do think, it is important to play around with it. And I've done that the same for demos that I've noticed, ooh, for this specific demo, this model works better versus this one. So yeah, it is a little bit of time that you invest up front, but then obviously it pays dividends when you've created the demo or in real life, also the real life solution for yourself or your customer. Speaking of demos, it's very possible that some of the people watching this video have actually tested out demos that you've made. So I must admit, my favorite demo that you've worked on is the AI penalty challenge, which was at different of our next events, obviously also in Las Vegas this year. But I also in London at the Cloud Summit got to compete against you when we did the AI quick build demo.
Mm-hmm.
How do you come up with all these amazing ideas for showcasing our technology but also making it really really fun for the attendees?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. I think, as I kind of mentioned already, is like I will build for myself. That's the main thing. Like if I'm building something and it doesn't interest me, I'm not gonna want to build it. So I almost kind of lean into my short attention span in terms of okay, I'm not interested in this. Let me work on something else, or I'm having fun with this. Like I enjoy this, so I know other people might enjoy it. So I basically will just lean into whatever actually interests me. So I'll kind of look to my hobbies, or like I play a lot of sports, but it's also not just looking at what I currently do, but it's also kind of leaning into any type of curiosity for other areas. Because I always think, and I guess the best way to think about this is like when you're in a hackathon environment, when you're competing to like come up with the best idea, and you might think, oh, let's get the team together, let's get them in a room, and let's do like brainstorming to try to find or come up with the best problem. And I always think that's a bad approach. I always think you don't come up with problems, you find them. So when we're like doing stuff for hackathons or coming up with demos, the first thing I do is like learn about the technology, learn about its strengths and weaknesses, and then it's like a listening phase. You're going out into the world. You're actually seeing like, oh, this there's an issue here. There's a bit of friction here. There's a problem there. It's like, oh, how could we use technology to solve it? So pretty much all of my ideas are always things that I've kind of like stumbled into. Whether it's like whilst I'm playing a sport, I'm like, oh, how would I improve this with a thing? Or maybe I'm playing a board game. I'm like, oh, how could we use AI to like facilitate the board game and stuff? So it's really all about looking out into the world, your hobbies, the things that genuinely interest you, and then ask the questions like, okay, can we use technology to make this better? And if we can, that's really exciting because I'm already excited by the subject matter. The subject is already fun. Like sports, Legos, those are already fun. So any technology you add to it will naturally build off of that fun.
Yeah, that makes sense. And well, I'm looking forward to doing the AI quick build demo again. But I'll have to work on my Lego building skills in the meantime. At this point, I'll show a picture of what I built last time, and then everyone will understand why I have to work on my skills. So thank you so much, Zach, for sharing that with us. But maybe a sneak peek. Can you give us maybe an idea or at least a hint on what upcoming demo you might be showing at one of our future events?
Gemini 2.0 is just launched, and one of the features that I've been working a lot with Gemini 2.0 is around the real-time multimodal capabilities. So being able to actually speak to Gemini like we're speaking right now, just through like video feeds and audio feeds. So I've been playing around a lot with that kind of technology, and I've already identified like a few very interesting things that we could not have done before that we can do now with this technology. So watch out for those.
Sounds great. And it's going to be available, the model is going to be available to everyone. So I would say also, dear developers, leave a comment below if you tested it, if you came up with fun demos, and share it with us. We might even be able to showcase it on this channel. So thank you so much for your time, Zach, and we're really looking forward to your upcoming demos and hope to see you on this channel soon again. Bye bye.
Bye bye.